Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Dicebreaker, where today we have been sponsored by our brilliant Ruin, a brand new RPG, and we have with us Justin from the design team. Justin, could you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what we're going to be looking at today?
Hey, yeah, thanks for having me. My name is Justin Achille. I'm Chief Creative Officer here at Studio Hermitage, and today we're looking at, as you said, Our Brilliant Ruin. It's our new tabletop RPG that we've got on Kickstarter right now, and we are planning to take it into a full transmedia approach here. So this is the game you get to play, you get to tell your stories in the world, but we're also doing some comic books coming out with Dark Horse, who's also a partner at we're mutually owned by Embracer Group, and we've got an audio drama coming out in the future as well. So you'll be able to experience kind of an actual play there. It's more scripted than an actual play, but kind of almost entirely in genre that way. And secretly, I'm not supposed to talk about this, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. We are a full dev studio, so we've got a video game in development, very early stages right now. Wow. That's really all I can say about it. But yeah, we're gonna let you play Our Brilliant Ruin and experience Our Brilliant Ruin in a bunch of different ways. But today it's TTRPG time.
Yeah, that's so exciting.
Yeah, a real Gekunftswerk, as they say.
It's such a cool. I mean, I'm sure we're gonna get into it, but like just from having a look, I was like, I love this setting. I love the vibes. Like, sign me up. So I'm happy to do this in like all different ways.
Yeah. My background is in tabletop role-playing games. You know, I started at White Wolf Game Studio working on World of Darkness, and that took me into video games as well. And of course, we have World of Darkness comic books, and there was the TV show way back in the day. And so, like, this is something that I've enjoyed working in all of these media, and this particularly is a world that I've wanted to make for a long time. And then everyone else at the studio has, of course, contributed, given their creativity to it as well. So I'm glad to hear you know, like, reacting so well to it. Like, we love this, and we are so glad to share this.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with any of us, then of course I'm Wheels. This is Maddie on my right, and then we also have Alex Meehan with us from the website team. We're going to be sort of going through character creation today, and then maybe sort of like trying out a few scenes. This is going to be a little resource for you to learn how to play, what this game's all about, and all that good stuff. Should we kick things off, Justin, by telling us about the world of Our Brilliant Ruin? Do you want to tell us what kind of space we're inhabiting? Because it's quite a fun one.
You bet. The first and foremost premise you need to know, we call it Our Brilliant Ruin. Ruin is right there in the title, right? And so in the fiction of the world, this is a completely fictional world. It's not an alt history kind of setting. It is its own kind of independent space. But the ruin is the light from a dead star, very, very distant, galaxies away, who knows how far away, that has traveled here to this, our world, and reacted to it extremely negatively. The ruin is, the way we're treating it, a kind of new natural law that this world hasn't experienced before, and it's reacting very negatively to the world. So one of the first things it does is it eats, corrodes, chips away at, destroys metal. And so in the history of the world, one of the first things that happened at this point was all of these metal tools started disappearing, right? All of these things that people needed for their society were taken away. And it also blighted crops. It reacts negatively with people. It turns people into, you know, horrible monsters. You've got analogs to vampires and analogs to ghosts. You know, the way we see ghosts is this light kind of photographs or traps an emotion in time, and that gets stuck as a ghost. It turns people into, it affects their physiology. It turns them into, you know, flesh-eating horrors. So there's, you know, a variety of negative and awful things going on, all of which is happening roughly in a kind of Edwardian historical era. It's not really Edwardian. We're just kind of stealing the aesthetics of it. We're not using real world history there, but very strongly, you know, we want that look. And part of that look is the estates, you know, the big English style country houses. And so these estates, these beautiful, you know, English style country houses, you know, if you've watched the show Downton Abbey, you know how visibly appealing they are. Or, you know, one of the shows I watch all the time is, you know, the showing the castles, these beautiful houses. These are great settings for role-playing games because, you know, people meet there, parties happen there, intrigues among the aristocrats happen there, and that's a big part of the focus of the setting too. Is not only do we have aristocrats, if you have aristocrats, you need to have the upstairs, downstairs, you know, social conflict that puts them aristocratic above somebody, and of course I say above in quotation marks there because, you know, a lot of our focus is on the human stories here, and, you know, if you are one of the the true folk. These are the people who make the world go round. These are the people who keep the estates functioning, who keep the towns, who keep the villages, who keep, their individual homesteads functioning. They're extremely important as well. And then the other group is the unbonded. These are the people who realize that, hey, this is the end of the world. We've got this, starlight corroding the world around us. Why do we still have these aristocrats? Why are we still observing these, outdated feudal models? We need to change things. And we don't know if the unbonded want to change things for the better. And of course, they don't have a unified voice. They just know that they want to set themselves aside from this prevailing social order. And so human drama, these massive, beautiful estates, the ruin is chipping away at all. Oh, and additionally, at the outside, before the ruin made it to the world, there were these machines that the old royals built, and these machines are called siliconetics. These giant machines were built to with the promise of an automated future. You don't have to till the fields anymore. You don't have to farm. We've got a machine that does it. You don't have to sew. You don't have to make anymore. We've got a machine that does it. And of course, all that did was put a bunch of people out of jobs. And who owned the siliconetics? The aristocrats did, or the royals did. But being gigantic machines, they were made of metal, so then here comes the ruin and puts a bunch of these things in a haywire state in our current events, right? And so, these giant rogue primitive AIs are out there crashing across the countryside. Maybe your estate is in the way as it comes, gathering, harvesting its way across the hills and meadows. So these things are kind of big, giant X factors out there. They're at once kaiju and mechs in a kind of Edwardian sense.
Amazing. That's so cool.
That's the premise.
So
Go.
Suffice to say, things are in a bit of a bad state.
Yes.
Were you talking about the world in this game or the world in general?
Oh.
Yeah, weird. Feels like there's a lot of metaphor, huh?
Maybe the perfect cathartic thing to be playing, you know?
Could be. So, Justin, we're going to make some characters in this world. So where do we kick things off?
Yeah, so the character sheets are really simple. We wanted you to be able to make a character in under 30 minutes once you get familiar with it. It's something you can do in about 5 minutes or so, pending a good idea. But before we start with characters, maybe we'll go through really quickly a introduction to the system, so that'll kind of inform you where to put the points as we go into character creation. And we have a one-page summary that's available at our Kickstarter. If you want to download that and take a look at that. So that's available to the audiences there, but also there's a summary available anytime that you want to take a look at it. But overall, the characters are broken into a series of attributes. And the attributes are your personality, your skills, and your portfolio. And this is a dice pool system. No surprise there. I've got a lot of experience working with dice pool systems, right? And so typically you're going to make a dice pool from your personality plus your skills. And the difference here from many games is that the player proposes the dice pool. The GM never rolls dice. I would never necessarily say to you, hey, give me a cunning plus intuit roll. Instead, you would say, I think something's going on here. Can I make a cunning plus intuit roll to kind of figure out what's going on? And so those traits also, those attributes, personality defines who you are. So we're more interested in how you're doing things. We don't particularly care about your strength, your dexterity, your constitution, etc. It's more important to us what your emotional state or your personal motivations are. And so the personality traits are audacity. And so this is kind of your personal ambition. This is your self-confidence. This is maybe even your selfishness, if you want to lean into that. Another personality trait is benevolence, and so this is your kindness, this is your compassion for other people, your appreciation of them. Cunning is another personality trait. This is your cleverness, this is your duplicity, this is your There's decorum as well, your kind of respect for tradition, orderliness, ultimately even conformity. A lot of people just kind of fall into order. Defiance as well, a character trait, a personality trait there. This is the degree to which you feel opposition or rebellion, your sense of individualism. Loyalty, kind of the opposite of that, your selflessness, your sense of duty or honor or responsibility. Ingenuity, this is your creativity, your insight, your originality. Obsession, how focused you are, how much you want to control things, how much you feel entitled to things. And then the last one is sensitivity. So this is your attunement to others. This is your empathy. This is your understanding. So that just sounds like a big info dump there, but not every character has all of those, right? And those are the things that really guide you throughout the game. Again, we don't care about, can you lift the box, but you could say, oh my gosh, I'm really loyal to her ladyship. I've got to get this box out of the way. So that would drive your dice pool there.
Fun.
Cool.
I like that.
And going into any questions there? I know I talk fast, I gesticulate, I apologize, but
No, it's fantastic. Yeah, no, I'm all good.
Yeah, that
sounds
sounds
good.
great.
all right, from personality, we go into skills, and skills would be the second component of that dice pool in most cases. Skills are things like craft, and so this is the skills are very, very broad. So craft is making things out of raw ingredients, a general sense of being good with your hands. If you were repairing something, that might involve craft. If you were working in the kitchen and you needed to get a ton of, you got to bake a dozen biscuits, that may be craft. And so you can see it applies very broadly. Express is another skill. This is your ability to communicate. This is directly or indirectly. You can have the subtext in there as well. This is also ability to express through media. So you could express on the stage. You could express, in a written screed. You could express, kind of a little bit of subterfuge there if you and I are having a secret conversation at the side of a party. Fight, big skill there, obviously. You use it to fight. But an important thing is that because these pools are so flexible, fighting is literally just the exchange of things. Just the fisticuffs there. If I wanted to, I could potentially fight you with physicality, which is another skill, and just kind of raw overpower you, or fight, using punches and guns, or sabers at dawn, or whatever there. Foster is another skill. Fostering is growing, is nurturing, is restoring. So I would foster as a farmer this year's harvest, but I would also foster your health as a doctor if I were trying to heal you. Intrigue, pretty straightforward there. Some subterfuge. This is deceit. This is secrecy. Anything that I kind of want to do underhanded and avoid attention, we would use intrigue for. Intuit, one of the examples earlier. This is figuring things out, and specifically this is from incomplete or enigmatic information. We talked about some of those monsters earlier. If I was trying to figure out what the heck does this ghost want, it can't talk, I might rely on Intuit there to read its cues a bit. Observe is your alertness to the surroundings. Observe is just kind of figuring out things that are there, in contrast to Intuit. Intuit is figure out. Observe is to see what is present in front of me. Physicality is acts of athleticism, physical exertion. This might be that lifting, right? This might be running a race. This might be getting punched in the face and taking it on the chin and shaking it off and keep going, right? And then our last skill is transgress. So anything that's kind of, that we would say, outside the social order falls into transgress. So you want to pick a lock? That's transgress. You want to do breaking and entering? You want to craft a poison? You want to forge something? All of that falls into transgress. And so there's your big dice pools there. Pick a personality trait, pick a skill, and then we go from there.
Amazing.
That is
so
the
fun.
base resolution system. Also, we have, every character has what we call portfolio, and these are things that are external to the character. And so this is things like access, like, hey, I'm on the guest list, right? Spend a point of access, and you get through the door. That's important too, saying spend a point, right? These aren't dice pool based, you just get it, right? I spend a point of access, and they wave me through the door. Another one is information. I just know the fact, right? Who was that guy who we saw a while back? Spend a point of information. Oh, it was the Duke. Fantastic. Entourage. This is people who go with you. This is potentially an animal companion, but it's people and pets who kind of travel in your wake. Yes, exactly. And that's why we did it that way. Mentor is a well-connected figure who looks out for you. This could be, a higher-ranking noble, or this could be someone in your guild who looks out for you if you're a true folk, or a well-connected member of the shadow economy, say, if you're among the unbonded. Reputation, do you know who I am? That kind of thing. Reputation is your fame, your public esteem. It doesn't have to be good, too. It can be like, you are the bloody butcher who killed their way across the town. Okay, well, not a great reputation, but a reputation nonetheless. A title. This is when you choose to lean literally on your title. If you want to say, I'm the Baron or I'm the Viscountess, you can invoke your title. It's different from reputation because reputation is your deeds, but title is kind of respect for the social order there. And that also doesn't have to be a noble title. It can be, I am I'm an accepted apprentice of this guild, or I am a fellow ranked, kind of a journeyman of this guild, or it can be, I'm a very well-established you might even lean on the kind of respect, like, oh, my family was well connected back in the day, that kind of thing there. Tools and equipment, we don't keep track of, there's not a huge amount of, write down, you've got, a sword and rope, and we don't particularly care about that. If something comes up and, oh, I really need a wrench right now, okay, spend tools and equipment, and we can get you that. Wardrobe, it's just a trait literally for looking great, right? If you spend a point of wardrobe and you are dressed to the nines, or you are perfectly presented for the situation.
Can't tell you
and of coururse,
points I would put in that.
Yeah, I feel like I know what we're all maxing out. All look incredible, can't do anything.
Absolutely. I mean, just to kind of go into the history of it, we designed this trait because many players in the old World of Darkness system really liked to use their appearance trait, but it didn't always fit. It didn't always justify a dice pool there, and so this is kind of some of the learnings from that. People love spending points in that, and so the system is different for it. Just tick it when you use it, that kind of thing. And it's the same for wealth, which is the final portfolio trait, right? Anytime you want to just throw money at a problem, tick off a point of wealth.
Beautiful.
There.
Wish it was that easy.
But you do have to be careful with portfolio. Right, it's not just that easy because you are spending it, and you recover it probably more slowly than you expend it there. And so, today we're going to be playing a couple of example scenarios. So by all means, spend it and let's see how it works. But if you're playing in a longer term saga, we call them, you get it back, much more slowly. Typically only 2 portfolio come back every session to you. So if you spend a lot of it, that's okay. You're just going to have fewer resources there. Of course, it becomes managing what you've got there.
Bankrupt myself. Incredible. I can't wait.
Yes, exactly. Perfect. And so that is really the nuts and bolts of the system. There are more details we'll get to in just a little while, but we don't have to front load all that stuff. So let's start character creation, right?
Yay!
All right. So one of the early things to think about is which faction you want to belong to. Of course, the aristocrats, the fantasy there is one of owning things and of power. And there are 5 different aristocratic families you can choose from. The true folk is another one of the big factions, and their big fantasy, their hook is extreme competency. They are very, very good at what they do. The world hasn't rotted away and rattled itself apart right now because of the ability of the true folk. They keep everything running. In fact, they get a special skill that they never have to roll. They are so good at this one particular thing they do, it just always succeeds. Do you want to be a fantastic baker? Great, no problem. Do you want to be a fantastic sailor? You got it. You never need to roll when we sail anywhere. Do you want to be a driver? Do you want to be... There's no real law in the world because the social order is breaking down, but there is a sense of contract, of mutual trust. And so, you might be really good at executing contracts or writing contracts. You might just really be good at sneaking or making whatever your artisan thing is. Whatever the thing that you do is, you do it perfectly. And then the unbonded are that third group. They're the ones who are, the fantasy there is of rebellion, of liberation even, wanting to get out from under this kind of outdated feudal system. And the systemic benefit of being unbonded is that so many times the unbonded are kind of pushed to the periphery. They start out with more vitality, so they're physically more hale. They start out with the ability to withstand more distress, so kind of mentally, emotionally greater fortitude. And also because they are pushed to the edges, they often encounter the ruin more, so they're able to, if they're exposed to ruin, mitigate it. Whereas other people, all of your vampires typically come from aristocratic backgrounds because they weren't able to mitigate the ruin well, and so it's taken them over. And so the unbonded are particularly tough and rebellious there. So that's really my first question to y'all, is to start thinking about, which one of those three groups we want to. I would encourage you, to kind of, since we want to look at the systems here, everyone choose a different one if they speak to you.
Okay. Has anyone got any preferences so far?
So we don't have to unify under one faction then.
You can choose to, or you can go across the board. That's one of the benefits, actually, of doing a session 0 like this, is figuring out what do we want to do. Do we all want to be aristocrats, kind of shaking the pillars of society and making our way? Do we want a more kind of balanced model where we have an aristocrat and somebody who keeps things going, and somebody who can make sure that the rough edges are dealt with? We could all be unbonded if you wanted to, and shake the pillars of society in a different sort of way if you want to, hasten the end of those aristocrats. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I would love to be a haughty lord. Any preferences from you two, let me know.
I was thinking the same, but I'm very happy to be something else. I mean, I'd be very happy to be an unbonded and try and shake things up.
Live out your Les Mis.
Yeah. But also, I'm so happy to be someone's manservant.
I have 3 different character ideas, 3 directions going through. So either the classic, let's call it the Meehan special.
Yeah.
Yeah, ooh.
Yeah. So, the kind of older woman who is, she's the Maggie Smith kind of role, where she's seen everything and she's obviously well-to-do and has a barbed tongue, but is very operates in polite society. Or I'm imagining a young gentleman who is very irresponsible with his family's money.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Big fan of that. Yeah.
Is the black sheep of the family and, drinks excessively and kind of gets seen at the party. Or, a lady's maid who, she's kind of oh, mistress, okay, if you think that's what we should do. And she's, heard a lot in her life. And she,
the kind of character who would have the surname Featherbottom or something.
Yeah. Like that. Yeah. So I don't know what direction to go in.
I mean,
those are all great concepts, and one of the things too that the setting allows is we don't want true folk to have to feel like you have to lean into servility, right? You don't have to be a true folk to take orders. You can be the true folk who the 5 guilds there are Crown Hall College. These are the academics. The Peacock's Feast. These are the artists, the artisans, the creators. There is the League of Glove and Key, and these are typically the house servants typically fall among them, but this is also things like hospitality and running stores, and the kind of day-to-day there. There is the Union of Rivet and Bellows. These are the people who build, who make, these great estates need to be repaired or built in the first place, and so they typically fall into those categories. And the 5th one is the Piedmont Accord, and as I was speaking about contracts earlier, the Piedmont Accord are kind of the professional freelancers. If you need that guy beat up, a Piedmont Accord guy will do that, for a handful of chits for you.
Right.
Or if you want to transfer ownership of your great estate to your heir, you would write up a contract with the Piedmont Accord individual, and that would, they would make sure that it signed, all the I's were dotted and T's were crossed there. So those are kind of big categories there, if that inspires you a little further.
That's fun.
I mean, our brilliant rowing could support any of those 3 characters I've just brainstormed. That's what I really like about it, is that it's so hard to choose because
Yeah, too many options.
do any of those.
If we want to try and split, so we do a variety. Wheels, if you're going.
I would love to be an
aristocratic.
aristocrat, yeah, if that's
Yeah.
okay.
Are you up for doing your like true folk one, Meehan?
Yeah, the lady's maid.
Yeah.
No, that's great.
Bottom.
Feather bottom, yeah.
Featherbottom. This is Featherbottom. I like the idea that she was once involved in a rough crowd. So even though she's now a lady's maid, like she has, like she could beat you up.
Yes, obsessed with
Mrs.
that.
Turnip Featherbottom.
Yeah. Oh,
Funny.
okay.
That's actually a great connection there. Like, were you once unbonded? That actually literally is the term unbonded. Unbonded, when you lose your bond, you are no longer bonded by the guild. And so that's what many of the unbonded have kind of taken up as this badge of honor. Like, the hell with you, I don't need your guild system. I'm going my own way. And so that's what the term means. And that might actually be an interesting kind of connection there between your characters, Alex and Maddie. There might be some sympathy. Maddie, if you are still or you currently unbonded, you may know Featherbottom from the past.
You ran together the same gang.
Yeah, I love the idea of like having a good proper job and then being like, nah, I'm gonna commit some little crimes and stuff and go my own way and realize like, why am I working for everybody? So I'm very happy to be on board.
Oh my god, maybe you traded places.
God.
Oh my god, yeah. Maybe originally, like, I was trying to get you involved in the unbonded. Mrs. Featherbottom was like,
I was such
get
a
in.
good ladies' maid, and then I completely fell from grace. And it's all you.
Yeah. But then I was like, I got cold feet, and I was like, oh, but I'm scared to not be attached to a profession.
Whereas I saw my first glint of fire on my first arson job, and I was like, oh man.
Can't get enough.
Feet and a feathered bottom.
a lady's tale.
Lady's tale, yeah.
I can't wait to buy your book.
Sizzling tale.
All right.
Yeah, no. What was the guild for the kind of serving staff?
That's the League of Glove and Key. Is typically hospitality.
Glove and Key. Okay. What about you, Wills? You're a folk.
I'm giving off a sort of bitter old woman.
Yes.
Who has maybe murdered multiple previous husbands. Has a crow on her shoulder. That kind of energy,
Okay, obsessed with that. You could turn me back. I'm obsessed.
Maddie and I were talking about that yesterday. Just yesterday, the concept of that.
Yeah, we were pitching about if we were in Regency times and how we would,
excellent,
murder people,
murder our husbands.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great concept, and that immediately makes me think of there's two families that concept just immediately lends itself to.
Okay.
The first is the Valgrieve, and the Valgreaves are probably the oldest family. Part of the issue with the world is that there's a lost sense of history, that as the ruin has eaten away at everything, we've lost a lot of what we used to know. And so that's why we kind of think the Valgreaves are the oldest. They have a distinct tie to the land. They used to be the wardens of the flame way back in the post-sovereign, post-royal times. They would literally burn back the ruin as it tried to encroach. And so they have that sense of responsibility to the land, and that also connects to the animals. So when you said she's got a raven on her shoulder, that animal sympathy immediately made me think of a good Valgrieve family fit there.
Okay.
But also there's a kind of spooky edge to what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And that leans me into thinking about the Astus Willow. The Astus Willow have let's say, an active interest in the ruin. Everyone else is like, oh God, the sky is falling, everything is terrible, it's the end of the world, and the Astus Willow are like, well, what if we could use this for, which of course leads them to be very frequently mistrusted because don't play with fire. But they are, we kind of jokingly describe them internally as the IKEA goths, right? They're a kind of sleek and spooky, drawn to the darker side of things. The world doesn't have really magic. It's much more of a kind of rudimentarily understood science approach to it, and so there's a little bit of that mad scientist ethic there, that, you know, let's experiment with the ruin and do something with it, that could lean into that concept as well. And definitely the bitterness and the these husbands were not what I was looking for, so I got rid of them. Yeah.
Get rid of them.
Aristocratic lady must make do.
Yeah, just sprinkle a little bit of arsenic in their tea. They'll never know.
Yeah, I think
Bond for his porridge.
silvery porridge. I think I might go with the Valkyries just because I want her to. I don't want it to be standard fare that she's like this.
That's fine.
You know,
Yeah.
I want her to be the odd one out. So I'll go with that sort of like very old family kind of vibe, as you said, with the crow familiar.
To make my notes
Understood.
right, everything I've said about my character. Okay.
Yeah, no, please do write down your stats, and we'll get some visuals for people on screen whilst we're editing.
Yeah, and so the personality is distributed equally among all of the different factions. Everyone gets to allocate a personality attribute of 3. So put a 3 in the one that is most you, right, of those personality traits. And then you get 2 2s and 3 1s.
Okay, interesting.
Ooh, big decisions.
I feel like audacity is calling out to me.
Yeah.
As I heard it,
Yeah.
I always just turned straight to look at you.
We gave you permission.
Yeah, I'm an audacious woman, you know.
Tag yourself. Oh.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm gonna go Defiance then,
Mm.
I think.
So sorry, it was a 3, 2 2s, and a 1, was it?
A 3, 2 2s, 3 1s.
3 1s. Sorry. Okay.
Oh, big choices.
I think cunning sounds pretty important.
Mm.
To get away with all that.
Got to keep those ex-husbands hidden.
Yeah.
But also just a level of decorum, you know.
Yeah, you don't just
She's a lady.
open them.
Yeah, it would be uncouth to speak of such things in public.
Oh, I might. It's not typically my. Well, it can be, but I might lean into the more, let's call it morally acceptable.
No. On this channel.
I know, but I might go.
But that's great for your concept too. You might be making up for the transgressions of your past, or also you might be lying to us, right? You might have 3 in a score that you're just lying to the world about.
Yeah, I might put. Gosh, I might put 3 in like sensitivity, 2 in cunning, 2 in something like loyalty, and then some 1 somewhere. Hang on. So I start.
I've gone for 3 in audacity, 2 in cunning and decorum, and then 1 in obsession, ingenuity, and defiance. I feel like that's a nice spread for the character I'm describing.
I've gone for 3 in Defiance, 2 in Ingenuity, 2 in Cunning, and then 1's in Audacity, Loyalty, and Obsession.
Interesting. Okay. We're both 1 obsessed.
Yeah, we're just slightly obsessed with different things, you know? I'm obsessed with setting fires.
Yeah, I put 3 in sensitivity, 2 in cunning and loyalty, and 1's in benevolence, decorum, and obsession.
Nice.
God, we're all obsessed.
A little bit.
No,
And I like that there's a 1 in obsession among all of you. There's this like undercurrent of this can be mine, right?
Oh, definitely an ambitious group of people.
Yeah. All in
no,
just different ways.
I wouldn't call my character ambitious. I feel like the obsession element is probably more like remaining in control of her situation,
Right,
and
okay.
like maybe even herself. She was
Excellent. Excellent.
Ray Winston on anyone.
All right, now we will allocate skills, and skills are different based on the different factions. And so we'll start with you, Wheels, as the aristocrat. You have you can distribute among your skills a 2, and a 1.
Okay.
aristocrats are not known for being particularly skilled. They just own everything.
Yeah.
They've never had to be skilled.
Other people are skilled.
Exactly.
too.
Okay, right. A 2, a 2, and a 1.
So, I mean, come on, Express. Got to.
I will be doing transgress.
Yeah.
Because I think she is a little bit...
Poison craft.
Yeah, a little bit outside of the law.
Yeah.
Which, you know, she is rich, so... then... I might also put another 2 in Intuit.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's very observant and not observant because that would be observe, but she has a knack for figuring people out. And then lastly, we'll of course have intrigue with my 1.
Yes, of course.
Actually, maybe I'll swap those 2. I'll have intrigue 2 and intuit 1.
Nice. Yeah, you care more about subterfuge than you do about
Yes.
figuring things out.
Yeah.
You'd rather just kill someone than work out.
Yeah, look, I don't know what you're up to, so have a nice cup of tea on me.
All right, good spread there. Good spread. Okay, Alex, you're the true folk in our group today, and so you get much more skills. Your skills, you get a 3, a 2, a 2, and a 1 and a 1. So kind of like your personality, just 1 fewer 1.
Okay, let's have a look. What do I
There's a lot of
think?
skills.
Turnip.
Turnip feather bottom, yes.
I'm gonna have, but I reckon she's intuitive and like observant. I think
And those are great skills to have, especially, you know, as you're describing, like as a lady's maid, you need to be able to kind of predict what her ladyship wants. And also, you're really good at kind of hearing what's going on in the house without letting everyone else know that you're aware of it.
Nice.
yeah. How would I get 3, 2, 2?
3, 2, 2, 1, 1.
Okay. So oh gosh, I might put my 3 in. I reckon she's very intuitive. I reckon she can clock on immediately what's going on. She's been around the block. Yeah. And I reckon she's observant. And she's got express as well. Because she's just so likable.
She is.
You know?
So personable, so affable.
Oh,
Yeah, so sweet. And then
Great.
a 1, was it?
2 1s.
1.
God,
Right,
all over the place.
I'll put a 1 in fight.
Yeah.
Alluding to that background there. That's great.
Yeah.
Swinging some handbags.
You know, and I'll put a 1 in transgress as well, actually, because she's, like I said, she's got a.
She has
In a
a heart.
She has a past.
As I know well.
Yes, as you know well, you're like, I saw you kick that man's head off.
Yeah.
Off!
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was inspired. I was like, I got to get in on that, you know?
Gotta get on that head.
Well, and now, as the cherry on top, as a true folk, you also get that one infallible skill, that one true folk competency. So, what is the one thing that Miss Turnip Featherbottom is perfectly known for?
Turnips.
No.
Feathering bottoms.
I think you're very feathery bottom.
Fluffing up feather pillows.
What's she good at? I reckon she's.
This might be
good.
something like etiquette, right? Is she perfectly understanding the flow of society and therefore helps her ladyship course correct for any of the weirdness in her past there? Or is it something more immediately practical?
I don't know how to define this, but I reckon she's like very good at, you know, if her ladyship has like a problem, and she's very good at kind of talking her through that problem, kind of having that like advisor role almost. So I don't know how to
Counselling.
Counsel
Yeah.
is good. Yeah.
Oh, that's a great verb. Counsel is a great
Okay, I'll
verb
do that.
there.
she's like, "Oh, I don't know what to do, Mrs. Featherbottom."
Yeah, you
or
convinced me
advise,
to leave
yeah.
my perfect life. You counseled me into being a criminal.
Yeah.
Convinced me.
This is what you do. You pull your leg back.
Boom. And there goes the
Head
head.
comes right off.
There's one spot you're really going to get with your heel.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, Alex, let's move to you as your unbonded character here too. Among your skills, you get a 3, a 2, and 2 1s.
For anyone who's wondering, we're not being rude and looking at messages on our phones. We're using it for notes.
I'm right, yeah. I'm right. That's my notes. Okay, well, I'm doing a 3 on transgress.
Nice.
I'm
Nice.
going to do a 2 on
God, we're so good at
craft.
transgressing.
Yeah.
Actually.
Are illegal.
And then I am going to do a 1 on observe and a 1 on fight for learning to kick heads off.
Fantastic. I actually really like seeing this. Among our playtests, we had one playtest group that was very kind of leaned into the traditional and the proper, and all of their points were allocated among doing the right social things and this, that. And we had the other group that was just the complete monkey circus of chaos and destruction. And I like that y'all are leaning into, and while all of that is happening, here's all of this skullduggery happening on this side of things too. Like,
We're all just doing
even the noble, even the aristocrat has transgressed. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Just a little bit of pride, though. Just like a one little sprinkle of pride.
Enough to butter a biscuit, as we say in the Valkyries.
All right, rounding out that third category, portfolio, that stuff outside yourself, those things, those favors, etc. you can call upon. Wheels, for you as the aristocrat, this is where you really shine. You start with portfolio 3, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1.
Oh my god.
Oh my
You
goodness.
have a lot of assets.
So it's three 2s and 3 1s.
A 3, 2 2s, and 3
So
1s.
the same as personality.
Yep.
Okay, wow, jeez, God.
Well,
so
don't you
much
have?
so much to
Literally
play with there.
everything.
Well, I mean, 3 wardrobe, let's just get that out there.
Oh, yeah.
Of course,
She
of
is
course.
dressed to the nines at all
Oh,
times.
God, Wheels. If you don't wear a hat with a dead bird on it, I'm going to flip.
Dead bird next to my live one?
Yeah.
That's a bit insensitive.
What if your little bird has a hat on that matches yours?
That's fantastic. However, I will say that she has like a sort of custom built shoulder pad in her dress where it sort of, hatches onto.
Freak.
She will not go anywhere without that bird.
Have you just got like bird poo like down your shoulder, like on the back?
No, I strategically stand myself next to people I don't like at the party, so
Your
that it
bird's
poops on them
Angles.
instead.
You've trained the bird to poo on people you don't
She
like.
would.
You can't prove that I have. Okay.
I love that it's not a function of that shoulder pad. Like, the shoulder pad doesn't collect the bird waste. Instead, you have the bird suspended on someone else.
No,
That's
it's sort of, it pushes it far enough outside of my body that the poop will go somewhere else. But also, it just looks amazing,
Yeah.
It's like a giant
A real
pauldron
sleigh.
of bird wealth.
She's serving.
With that in mind, I'm going to put a 2 in reputation. Not a good reputation, but a reputation nonetheless.
Yeah.
Yeah. Taylor Swift reputation.
Yeah, we'll have a 2 in wealth.
So Taylor Swift coded.
Yeah. Look what you made her do, guys. God.
Oh, you need entourage, right? Animals who help you.
Yes, I do. Yeah, I need my 1 in entourage.
One animal.
It's 1 animal. Yeah. Look, he's not. He's more of a pet than he is a helper.
Yeah. But
Every now and
you trained him
again
to
I'll
poop
pull
on
him out,
people.
but it's just like a
Yeah.
one-time thing.
Put it out.
Then I've got 2 more 1s to spend, so I'm gonna put it into information because she is a bit of a gossip.
No, she would be.
She would be, and
Finding everyone
last
off.
but not least,
As is her want.
Yeah.
we'll put 1 in access as well.
As is her prerogative as a woman.
We look here on Dicebreaker. We support women's rights, but we also support women's wrongs.
Oh, yeah.
We love it when they do bad things.
I think women should have whatever crazy thing they want.
And
well,
that-
interesting there too. Like, did you not put points in title?
Oh, I missed title. Oh,
And
goodness.
you don't have to. And actually, that suggests something fantastic. Is she on the outs? Right? She is an aristocrat, but she doesn't have the title that she can lean on anymore. That's almost like the other side of that reputation. Is no one willing to give her the benefit of being her ladyship?
No, she has to be her ladyship. I am putting one in title.
Yeah.
I love the idea, but my ego could never. So I'm gonna put 1 point in title. So she's not exactly the most well-to-do person in the country, but she still has a stake of claim.
She's got something.
She's got something.
There's
So
something about
I'm
her.
taking one away from access, putting one in title instead, and that's her. So 3 in wardrobe, 2 in reputation, 2 in wealth, 1 in entourage, 1 in information, and 1 in title.
And remember, for these, when you use them, you will tally them down. They don't make dice pools. You're kind of spending them. They're almost like spells. All right. And also, one of the benefits that the aristocrats have as a faction is ultimately long-term over the course of play. You're the only faction that can build these up to 5. Everyone else caps out at 3, but the aristocrats can have so much external resources.
Oh,
5 wardrobe. Imagine 5 wardrobe.
The mad drip.
I'm imagining like if we filmed this, it'd be like literally every time the camera cuts back to you in a new outfit.
Even during the same scene.
yeah.
Yeah, if you're still looking for actors for the TV show, let us know.
Will, you've got a new accessory on somehow.
Yeah.
Keep adding more and more.
More like fruit and feathers to your hat. Just weighing down.
Fantastic. All right, well, that's me. That is Allegra
Excellent.
Valgrieve.
Allegra Valgrieve. Perfect.
What a woman.
All right, Alex, for your true folk, among your portfolio, you get 1, 1, and 1. And you also get 1 free point in title. So you are recognized by your guild, and this can be whatever title you choose. This can be apprentice, this could be fellow, this could be master. Those are the 3 guild ranks. Or it could be some kind of specialty.
Okay, what were the numbers again? Sorry?
1, 1, and 1.
3 ones.
3
Correct.
ones.
3 ones.
And is that in addition
And that's
to the
why
1
you
in
have to
title?
work for a living.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Is that in addition to the 1 in title that she gets for free?
Yes, 3 ones plus a free 1 in title.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'll put obviously 1 in title. Where'd 3 ones go?
Oh my god, I'm entitled too.
Oh.
I know.
Everyone keeps telling me that.
I'm gonna put 1 in access because I feel like as a ladies'
Yeah.
she's gonna be able to get into places.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, like, I don't know, underwear drawer stuff.
That's your go-to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot you could tell from someone.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
You see literally everyone's underwear drawer. You go to a party with your
Yeah.
lady, you're straight upstairs, underwear drawer.
You're writing a secret anonymous newsletter, and everyone's like, "How do they know? How do they know the color of my underwear?
How do
My
they know?
bloomers."
Bloomers with red hearts on them. I'm gonna have 1 in information.
Okay.
She's heard things, in and around. And where's my last one going? I mean, maybe wardrobe, just because,
She's
We all
definitely got
know.
about 7 skirts on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'll put it in reputation.
Okay.
Because I reckon she's got an excellent reputation among the guild. Something
Well,
like
it could also be every now and again you meet someone who knows your old reputation as well. Yeah.
exactly. He knows her dark past.
I can
And that's
feel
the flexibility of portfolio too, right? Anytime you choose to invoke it like that, I'm well renowned in my guild, or 20 years ago when I was doing such and such, and that's why you should give me the benefit here.
Yeah, they've heard things
Yeah.
about what she's capable of.
I have
So they're
kicked a man's head off.
Then as she see this older lady with big old puffy skirt, she said, "Oh, she's so sweet." But no,
Yeah. There's a reason she wears so many skirts to
Yeah.
hide those legs of steel.
them Chun-Li legs.
She's Chun-Li.
Oh, and then
All right, Maddie, for your for your unbonded, you get a portfolio of 2, a portfolio of 1, and then you also get a free point in reputation, and that reflects, whatever society knows you for and why you are outside of it.
That's perfect. So I was already listing things that I thought might be good, and reputation was one of them. So in that case, I would
She's
go.
got a bad reputation.
Yeah, she's a bad girl. I'm gonna go tools and equipment 2 for all my fire starting, and then information 1 because I think I'm hearing things like we got a network of unbonded of places that we should be going to, people that we know.
Things that look very flammable in town.
Exactly.
Yeah. Where to buy new tinder boxes.
Exactly.
Very
Well, leaning
fire.
into fire here is also
Yeah.
particularly valuable because one of the things that keeps the ruin at bay is literally fire. You can burn it out. You can, and in some cases, the Valgreaves, or one of the Valgreaves, has invented something called the Flaming Duchess, which is literally a primitive flamethrower, right? It allows you to kind of spot fire certain stuff, and so this makes perfect sense for an unbonded to help keep the ruin at bay, and that's part of probably how you've survived here is being able to judiciously apply fire to certain threats.
Yes.
Will, you need to get Maddie's character one of them.
I'm just going to say, whoever invented that thing is definitely one of my mates, and we play bridge together,
Yeah, definitely. Also, Maddie, you can go around. I'm imagining you setting fire to buildings, and you're like, oh, the ruin.
Yeah, it was so full of ruin, sorry.
Oh, so sorry, Governor. Your basement was full of ruin. Just had to set the whole thing in place. All them apple crates that were gone missing as well. They all had to be burnt up. Sorry.
To burn it down.
Don't worry about my pockets full of apples. That's just from another situation.
Oh my god.
Perfect.
All right, well then.
All right, and then some easy bookkeeping here. Wills, Alex, you both have 5 vitality and distress. Maddie, your character has 7 vitality and distress.
Oh.
You are
Hardy.
able to withstand, yes. And so now one of the kind of closing out the exercise of character creation here is creating an epigram for your character. For a lot of people, or for many games, like in World of Darkness games, you come up with a character concept. But for Our Brilliant Ruin, it feels more appropriate, like what is the pithy or witty statement that kind of summarizes your character's world outlook, or it can be how they treat other people, or it can be what they expect. What's the zinger that your character is known for? This is a chance to exalt your Oscar Wilde side.
Is this a zinger that she would have said, or that someone would have said about her?
Yes. Your choice.
Oh, okay. I guess mine then is just, which number husband is she on now?
Which number is it, Will? Do we know?
No.
Not even she knows.
I believe there's some kind of betting ring around when the number is finally found out, what number that will actually be.
Who's marrying this woman?
Anyone who sees my incredible wardrobe.
Right,
They can't get enough.
Oh, God.
That's why they keep marrying you.
No, you're too strong.
I got my back.
Is she the new Riz King?
Yeah, she is the new Riz King, and she's the Drip King. She's fine.
It's the Drip King.
Maddie, what about you?
Burn, baby, burn.
Is the double entendre there that you're also a little baby?
Yeah, she's so little.
Little
So
orphan.
young.
Maddie, what's your character's name?
I'm gonna go with Charlie Jones.
Charlie Jones.
Charlie Jones.
And Wheels, you were Allegra, is that correct?
Yeah, Allegra Valgrave. I'm assuming we take the family name of the one that we pick.
You may choose to, but there are also any number of sublines or other families. So the Valgreaves could also include the Smiths, or could include the Winds, or could include anybody there. And in many cases too, they hyphenate, kind of like the Astus Willow have done. That was previously the Astus and Willow family.
Say, she must have the longest, not double, but whatever number it is, surname you've ever seen. So she just goes by Valkyrie. She's got about 18 different surnames she's adopted.
And that also kind of raises the issue of the way inheritance works. You don't always have to bequeath anything to, your wife or husband. Like, it literally, because it is a post-law world, you can literally choose whoever you want to inherit. So, Lady Allegra, you are obviously convincing all of these, husbands to keep sending wardrobe-style resources your way, or perhaps you've got them on your own. But it may be that ultimately all of this gets willed to whoever your love interest is, or a child if you've got one, or just if someone takes your passing fancy there. So we want people to be able to, during the course of the game, especially over longer sagas, move the resources around among characters. There's also because it's not actually historical, right? Marry whoever you want, right? Yeah. Lady Allegra may have a wife, may have a husband, may have two wives, may have a husband and a wife. So long as it's what the character wants, society doesn't place any kind of. There are no negative connotations to.
Allegra's a girl's girl. She doesn't murder women.
I was gonna say, yeah.
That's exclusively for annoying men.
Not to bring up one more TikTok meme, but your husband buying you outfits. I'm just picturing Pookie looks so fire tonight.
Pookie, you're looking fire tonight. Okay, excellent.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what Mrs. Featherbottom's saying. What's it called?
Oh yeah. Ooh.
Epigram.
Ooh.
I think her saying is like, maybe something like, "Don't worry, dear." Maybe something like that.
Oh, that's cute.
Don't worry, dear.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that fits the skill too. You will counsel them through it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Everything will be fine, guys.
Don't worry, dear, but has ooh after it as well.
Yeah. Ooh. Brackets. Ooh.
Serves like a pro, kicks like a horse.
Oh. Here we go. Keep churning out. Go.
All right, fantastic. This is a great group. I like that we have everybody represented too. What I am a little bit unclear on, and let's maybe dig into this for just a moment, is what is the relationship between Charlie and Allegra? We know there's kind of there's a connection in the past between Charlie and Miss Featherbottom that maybe even involved them switching factions. But what keeps you in with this aristocrat, this useless aristocrat?
I mean, maybe you're looking for poison and stuff. I have connections. I can just get you things that you want. Like, I've got friends who can pick you something up you want,
Interesting. Yeah, I could very well see Allegra being so completely unbothered that she just assumes that you work for her,
Oh, that's even better, yeah. I just turn up sometimes,
Yeah.
just hang out.
You're like, well, she's fine. I'll use her as an in to get all the things that I want.
If I want a dry cover for the night, I'll just come in and serve you dinner or something and be like, yep. Stop fluffing some cushion.
I keep saying, Mrs. Featherbottom, that servant you hired is just not performing any of the tasks that I ask of him, and you're just like, yes, my lady, I'll sort it.
Yeah. You see me and you're like, can you bring me some tea? And I'm like, yeah, on it. Walk out and I just never come back.
So are we saying that Mrs. Featherbottom is your lady servant?
I assume that's what you're implying, but it does not have to be.
Dunno, because I feel like her services aren't going to be really used well with your character.
If you're a hospitality person, perhaps she stays in one of your hotels permanently. If she's going from husband to husband, she's just got a permanent residence in your hotel or something like that.
That's so fun.
I'm imagining maybe she works at some sort of manor where various aristocrats stay at. So she works
situation.
Yeah. So she works with all different kinds of of aristos, you know.
Yeah.
Not necessarily even ladies. Like, I reckon she works with everyone. So she has that she can, you know, like apply that counsel skill to all sorts of people, and like has those connections and that knowledge as well. So let's say she's a maid for hire.
Okay, interesting.
That's a fantastic idea. And in fact, there are many estates and other locations that are currently unoccupied. And in some cases, they have glove and key staff who work for them because the glove and key want to keep the place up to snuff for when an aristocrat does go there. But that also implies, you know, that could work as well, not attached to the house, but to the individual. You know, you are an on-demand lady's maid.
Yeah, I'm like 5-star reviews, TripAdvisor.
And then I keep following you around and just like stealing stuff from the kitchen, pretending I also work with you.
Yeah, I'm
Got
like
a few 4-star reviews because they're like, she was fantastic, but I just can't find my silverware, and I don't.
yeah, but I can't tell you to like. Well, for number one, she's a relatively nice person, so she doesn't tell you to like bugger off. But she also can't because you know the truth.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm like, I know I can push it. I'm like, I don't push it too often. I just get what I need and head off. But I'm like, I know that you're not going to tell on me unless I do something really bad because I could tell on you.
Yeah, I reckon we have a positive relationship.
Yeah.
That simmering undercurrent of like
Mutually assured destruction.
Yeah.
A knife at each other's
screw
throats,
each other over,
with a
so.
smile on the face.
yeah,
Incredible.
exactly.
Well, great. Yeah, good dynamic here. Lots of room to fill in the blanks and see what emerges as we start to tell our story. And that's it. That's character creation. I know that we, took a little longer here, but we walked through an entire overview of the system. But you see how quickly, just put a handful of points on what you want to be known for. Bada bing, we're good to go.
Excellent.
It always takes a bit longer when we're involved.
I was going to say, because we just go on so many tangents.
Natterers.
Good group dynamic, though. It's good. There's rapport here, and I can see it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, we will start a little bit in medias res here. We'll assume that we've been playing for a little while, and we are now at the current scene. And where we are now, Lady Allegra, your presence has been requested, which of course is no surprise to you. You're used to getting invited to various and sundry exciting events, new opportunities, but the place you've been invited here maybe raises your hackles a little bit. The place is called the Filthy Rita. Not the sort of place that you're used to being invited to. But in asking around a bit, and in fact, Charlie knows a little bit about this, and weirdly, Mrs. Featherbottom knows a little bit about this too. It's actually... It's a well-appointed place. The name itself definitely sends the wrong message, but it is a club. And it is a club where you can go to, it used to be a captain's club and was won by the current owner in a hand of cards. And that current owner repaired everything. The thing had fallen into disrepair. It used to be called the Emerita. The sign had rotted so much, had been ruined, so that the only thing that was left was Rita, that part of it, which then the guy who owns the place leaned into and restoring it. So it's now the Filthy Rita. But the Filthy Rita is very well appointed inside. It's huge. It's spacious. It is at once a social club and a dance club and a supper club. And if you go in the back, you can play cards. There's a billiards room. This is a place that appeals to all and sundry. This is a place where you can hobnob with someone who is absolutely engaging their transgress dice pool, but it's also a place where you will see fellow aristocrats. But what gets your goat a little bit here is that the person who has invited you, her name is Kate Ridley. She won't tell you what it's about, only that it affects the potential for your future. And you're worried that came across a bit as a threat as much as opportunity.
It's given.
And so, that being the case, you have you have come to the Filthy Rita with your attendants, your entourage, your friends, however you choose to describe the group here. But Mrs. Featherbottom is with you. Charlie is with you, and it's a wonder once you get inside. It looks dark and foreboding from the outside, as befits its reputation. But once you get in, there's that warm yellow glow that gets you away from that ever-present mist and gloom outside. There are upbeat songs that people are dancing on the dance floor. There are slow and sultry songs that people are not only dancing to, but obviously planning their next liaison to. And so you enter the Filthy Rita, and the person who must be Kate Ridley is just beyond your range of vision. You see someone seemingly gesturing you over, and we'll say that's our cinematic cue for you to move in here. The room is yours.
I think Allegra walks through, just face like a slapped ass.
Yeah.
And is staring daggers at the woman that she presumes to be the inviter. Refusing to walk over due to her gestures, like, you'll be coming to me, actually. Maybe a sort of service staff comes over and it's like, oh, my lady, can I take your coat or something? And just completely blanking them. Jasper the Crow poops on his shoulder or something. And I am just giving the sternest, most just staring daggers into her eyes and just been like, you better come over here right now because I'm not enjoying this.
I'll nudge her in the side of the ribs and I'm like, Allegra, look, want me to go check it out for you? We'll do a little wander around first, see what's going on.
Yes, very well. Why don't you bring her over here?
All right, I'm on it. Featherbottom, see you in a minute. And I'll start scouting off around to go find her.
Mrs. Featherbottom, I think, is currently sort of looking around almost very nervously with a hood up on her sort of
bonnet.
She really doesn't want anyone to notice her in this particular establishment.
You say your hood is up?
Yeah.
I think Allegra points this out. Yeah. Mrs. Featherbomb, you're being uncouth. You forget yourself.
I'm so sorry, my ladyship. I'm just, I'm just very nervous. By so many people in here. It's very loud. I'm not used to these kind of places. You see.
Yes,
I don't mean no offense.
When we first received the invitation, I thought we were going to the Filthy Reader, which is my erotic fan fiction book club.
Wow. I wouldn't know anything about that. Mrs. Featherbottom definitely read the erotic.
Yeah, you found them in my pants drawer.
Yeah. And you're constantly like, God, when's she going to get the next one in the series?
Come on. Yeah. But she's letting Charlie kind of go ahead. They know what they're doing.
All right, then, Charlie.
Okay, as Allegra is remonstrated, or remonstrates, I suppose, Miss Featherbottom, you can't help but feel all eyes turn to you, Lady Valgrieve, and you know that it's a combination of just looking as stunning as you do, but the other side of things is there are also people here who would know that element of your reputation. So even passively, your portfolio and concept are working there to kind of reinforce, how you see the character there. Charlie, as you do the big kind of loop to go around and meet the contact, a couple of things are going through your head. The first one of which is, this place. You've probably been here before. You've probably taken work here before, and you also know that the guy who runs the place, Angus Trapp, is one of the probably most successful examples of the unbonded place in the world. The guy is filthy rich. The guy is connected. He knows everybody. And he operates in what's kind of called the shadow economy here. The world itself, again, doesn't really have law, so it doesn't really have crime. But this is what you would call a crime boss in any other sort of situation. But he's good. So, Charlie, you take the big detour around the dance floor. You watch the couples. You're kind of giving, a once out for, is anyone here overtly dangerous? No?
Yeah.
Okay, we're mostly in good place here. And you come up to the woman who presumably is Kate Ridley, who's sitting at a table. It's a cocktail table. There are 2 seats at the table, so obviously she expected someone to stand. It's unclear who the social slight was intended toward, but it obviously didn't work because Lady Allegra was a step ahead of that, and she does not see you approach.
I'm just gonna walk up behind her and just go, all right, Kate, look, I'm just gonna level with you here. Clearly you've got a little situation set up, but I'm gonna be honest, Allegra back there, she likes things done like a certain way. Just to save us all some trouble, I'd reckon just coming straight over, sitting wherever the hell she wants to sit, because she's just gonna pick some random thing. Just go along with it if you want things to be easy.
All right. You've obviously caught Kate on her heels, right? She did not expect. Oh, okay. What the? But she immediately collects herself and turns the attention back on you, Allegra. Oh, so you're on a first name relationship, a first name basis with Lady Valgrieve. Is this true?
Definitely not supposed to be.
I'll be honest, that was a little slip of the tongue there on my part. How about we just forget it, and I'll. We'll just keep this rolling. Forget that. Yeah, Mrs. Hargreave requires
Valgrieve,
you.
all right.
Over.
So we'll call that even, and I will come over to the table that her ladyship chooses, as you suggest.
Amazing.
But I've got my eye on you, Miss Featherbottom. You now seeing the person that Charlie is talking to. There's something there that you recall. You may know this person. Do you have, if you want to, you can spend some portfolio here if you choose to do that, if you have anything that might be appropriate.
Oh, what's in my old portfolio? I have some information. I can spend 1 information. Sure, I'll spend.
All right. So you tick that down, and yes. Now you recall. So this lady, this Kate Ridley individual, she is a member of the Piedmont Accord. She is someone who executes contracts. She has a bit of a squirrely reputation in that she is probably not the most airtight in the contracts she's writing, but she seems to do pretty well for herself, and that's built for her a reputation of, she gets things done fast and loose, and kind of picks up the pennies afterward. In fact, you have read in the Daily Howl, which is the one of the local tabloids, that Kate Ridley is representing someone. The article was evasive, but she is executing a transfer of property of an estate, and the estate hasn't gone to anyone yet. And so that's what's got everyone weird up in arms. Like, here's this, everybody wants these grand houses. Who is this house going to? And why is this person handling the contract?
Okay, there's some hubbub around it. Cool. Knowing this information... So I'm currently in the service of Lady Valgreaves.
There or thereabouts, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. She's gonna sort of. So is Kate coming over at the second?
Lady Valgrieve, do you take the seat? Do you choose your spot?
Yeah, I'm like a statue waiting for her to come over and personally introduce herself,
But you are you still standing in the front, or have you chosen a table there?
I've walked in and I have been stood still, staring her directly in the eyes this entire time.
Okay. Okay, so then we will say that Kate will take Charlie's advice and get up and start to head toward her ladyship, and then Miss Featherbottom, you're free to do whatever.
So Miss Featherbottom can see her coming over, right? She's going to whisper to Lady Volgreaves, say, "Oh, Miss, just to let you know, quick bit of information. I read in what was the newspaper?
The Daily Howl.
Is it the kind of newspaper that a woman like Mrs. Featherbottom
Should be reading.
should be reading?
It's the Sun. It's a tabloid.
Ooh.
Mrs.
Mrs. Featherbottom was looking at page 3 again.
Yeah. She said, I read somewhere that this person is potentially involved in transferring some estate of some manner, but we don't know whose estate or why. But also, I recommend you keep a tight grip on things. She's a little bit slippery, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's interesting, Mrs. Featherbottom, but I don't recall reading that in any of the broadsheets. But very well, thank you for the information.
No problem, Yoli.
A bit of advice for you, Mrs. Featherbottom. If someone calls you over with what you can only assume to be blackmail, make them sweat.
I would never be in that kind of situation, I'm sure, but if I ever was, I'll do my best.
Very well. Okay. She's coming over. Why don't we find a table? Yeah, I think.
What kind of table are you looking for? Tell me about the table you choose.
As she approaches, I think maybe she like goes to talk, and then I start walking to the table. Just gonna be as rude as possible, I think. And I'm gonna find a table that is currently being like half used by some handsome young men. Who were not expecting me to sit with them, but I'll just go and sort of like using a sort of handkerchief sort of dust off one of the stools before sitting on it, and then gesturing for everyone else to join me.
For some reason, I really think I'm picturing you with like a cane with like a bird's head on it or
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I use it to pull the stool out.
Yeah.
I think, and then
absolutely.
Sorry, I was just gonna say after sitting down, I'll just sort of like dab my lipstick to make sure it's perfect, and then pass the handkerchief off to one of the men, revealing that my I don't know, phone number or address is currently written onto it. Not sure if we've hit phone yet, but there you go.
We have indeed. We have, and this is the part in the movie, right, where you hand the handkerchief over, and the men. There's two men at the table, and you've come over to sit with them, and one of them literally has his mouth open, and the other one has to take the handkerchief because the one with his mouth open is so shocked that. Had no idea that you were. Yes, good evening. They're all afluster.
Oh my goodness. Listen to Matt Wales.
I know. Well, this is how I always get these husbands.
How old is the lady? How old is the ladyship?
I think she is maybe sort of like early 50s. She's in her sort of like middle-aged era, but has aged well, and there's a lot of young men who who still take her fancy. I think she's just going to use the aforementioned bird cane to just sort of like close the mouth of the man who's gaping without actually like glancing over at him, and then gesture for Kate to sit down as Mrs. Featherbottom and Charlie join us.
Love that so much.
God, I love to see her work.
The face.
Charlie, you've got one eye on this, and your other eye is on the fact that you know what? I'm gonna ask you for a dice roll here. There's something you can notice here, and why don't you tell me how you notice it? What dice pool are you using to notice here?
So I'm using 2, right? I'm using my personality and skills.
Choose a personality attribute and a skill.
Okay. Well, obviously observe is going to be 1 for my skill. Personality. I'm going to just double check the vibes of each again, see if this is going to make sense. Ooh.
And can I just check whilst we're looking up stats, Justin? What happens if we have no stats in something that we need to or want to roll? Is it 2d6 and take the worst?
Oh, great question. You cannot accomplish the thing that way. You are free to approach it any other way. And so, for example, here, like one of the things I like to say is there's no shame in choosing your biggest dice pool, right? If Audacity, Charlie, is your biggest, if you've got a 3 in Audacity and you want to put that with Observe, selfishly, I've been looking out for myself and I notice blah, 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 blah. So the personality traits are there to give you success, but also to give you context.
Yeah.
It's not that you have to be, hugely observant and wise to figure it out. Any of your personality traits may apply here, and then that just frames how the thing occurs.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, I'm going cunning and observe because I think I'm cunning in the fact that I'm I'm always keeping a couple of eyes out to see opportunities, to see what's going on, see what I can stick my nose into. I'm gonna go for that. So I got 2 in.
All right, so throw that number of dice, please.
All right, so 3 total. Oof.
Am I adding them all up together?
No, you're looking for 6s or 1s.
I got 2 1s.
You got 2 1s. Okay. 6s are called brills, and those are, your successes. The more 6s you get, the more brilliant your result is. And the more 1s you get, those are glooms. And now you have more glooms than brills, so catastrophe. In fact, we will say here that in your attempt to observe, you are so oblivious, in fact, that you do not notice the thing that I'm not telling you right now.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm just looking
Instead, you are more taken with, oh my gosh, Kate has a pistol in her back, in her waistband.
Damn, okay. Keeping a little eye on her.
You're just damn sick pistol.
Oh,
I want.
Yeah.
Imagine the explosive and flammable things I could shoot with that.
But even there, kind of the system shows on a failure, something happened for you. On a catastrophe, something happened. It's not like you're bumbling inept. The thing that I wanted you to notice, you didn't notice. But there's something else that, this other thing took your attention. And so there's still a value potentially in failure
That would take
there.
attention. Obsessed. Amazing.
And she is making her way over to the table with her ladyship, your friend, and these two. This is probably husband 12 and 13, maybe. Who knows?
12 and 12 if they're lucky.
Your lady.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I think Mrs. Featherbottom's going to stand. She's not going to sit.
I respect that. Yeah.
Yeah, she's standing by her ladyship's side. And yeah, keeping an eye out for people around her.
Nice. I think Charlie is also going to stand. She's going to stand leaning against a wall, arms folded, just looking at. She wants to angle so where Kate sits down, she can see the pistol, in her eyeline.
All right. Keeping that pistol in view there. So Kate Ridley approaches, eyes locked on you, Lady Valgrieve. I don't know if you bother to match her gaze, obviously with the quote-unquote flirtation going on here. But as Kate Ridley approaches, she stands and clears her throat. Lady Valgrieve?
Yes, that's me. Please do have a seat.
She looks to the two gentlemen. The matter I'd like to speak to you about is perhaps personal, and are these your guests?
She looks over to the two men. I'm not sure. They could be.
Well, unless there's a reason for us to leave, we're happy to hear. The other one is still mouth agape that this is Lady Valgrieve. Now he has a name to put to the lovely face and figure and wardrobe. And the other one's obviously trying to horn in on, this might work out for me twice tonight.
Oh my goodness.
Look, if this is a very personal matter, and I, of course, don't mind my own entourage, this is Miss Featherbottom and Charlie, I believe. I'll ask these two gentlemen to perhaps get us some beverages from the bar. You wouldn't mind, would you, boys?
certainly not. Ernest, come with me. Come on. The two gentlemen get up, leaving their seats open, and Kate, very presumptuously, Lady Valgrieve, takes one.
There's a slight twinge of the eyebrow that shows disgust, but that is all that she gives.
And she says, "No reason to beat around the bush here. Let's get right to it. I know that things haven't been going necessarily as well for you as they had in the past. Again, very presumptuous here, a completely oleaginous tone of voice. But I may be able to do something to help you in that regard. I represent a certain party who has an estate that is looking to transfer to its next heir. And the person it's supposed to go to is probably not to your liking. And I was wondering instead, since I'm in charge of the contract and executing the contract, if you'd like to be the beneficiary as well? Or instead?
Interesting.
We've got room here, Lady Valgrieve, and there's like this false bravado that's coming to the surface. For me to give you a great house, and there it trails off with the implied, and you need to help me.
What is it exactly you're after? Kate, was it?
Yes, Kate. Thank you kindly for treating me with such familiarity, Lady Valgrieve. The thing is, I'm in a bit of trouble, and the house is in a bit of trouble too, and it may have my fingerprints on it, and so I need a little bit of. I need to buy my way out of this.
Charlie. Upon seeing the pistol, did you try and make any kind of gesture towards us, or were you just sort of keeping an eye?
I'm just keeping an eye. I'm just seeing how this plays out.
Okay,
you know.
all right.
I'm not. My loyalty isn't necessary to you.
Wow. Okay. All right.
I'm a bit. I'm keeping an eye on.
I
If she
get
pulls
it.
it out, I'll
I
jump
get
on
it.
her.
Yeah. All right. Very well. So I'm completely unaware of that. Well, I try not to get myself in too much trouble, as I'm sure you're aware. I like to play things by the books. I'm a good upstanding citizen, so it would be difficult for me to do anything too untoward to help you. So perhaps you lay what it is exactly that you want on the table and we can talk.
That's fair enough. For a certain volume of money, the contract can have your name in it instead of the blank it currently has. There's nothing untoward happening here. The estate doesn't have an owner. The person it is favored to go to hasn't yet been decided, and I can simply tip things in your favor there. You're not taking it from anyone exactly.
How is it that in the current state of affairs, such a wonderful home as I'm sure it is, has ended up without a master to speak of? No heir, no interested party looking to purchase? Why is it exactly that you are grovelling in front of me, Miss Kate?
We don't have to use such unpleasant terms, do we? As this is going back and forth, Miss Featherbottom, you have an opportunity to notice something here. Where is your attention on the club at large, or are you more focused on the potential opportunity to counsel her ladyship here?
I think that Mrs. Featherbottom, I don't know, she's trying to keep an ear on the conversation while the eyes are on everywhere else. Just basically keeping an ear, making she's following what's going on, but also the eyes are checking for her own benefit to be okay, is anyone clocked myself or the ladyship or anything like that?
Okay, so that sounds like potentially an observe, but if that isn't a skill that you want to use here, you can choose another skill and match it with let's see. The personality feels like it might be a little bit of. Is there loyalty here to her ladyship? You're kind of keeping a track of two separate situations. How do you? I'm just giving you examples. How do you want to pay attention to what's going on here?
I think I want to kind of play both halves. So I think I want to use observe as a skill to like keeping an eye on things, and then use sensitivity as a personality to like, be on what's being said and like pick apart like what's the motivation here. Obviously, like there's the motivation she's presenting, but is there a catch that's going on? And also, is this going to be she's loyal, but she's not loyal to like there's such a degree that she's willing to do something exceptionally, immoral, etc.
Okay, I'm going to grab that and run with it then. Let's take your sensitivity plus observe, and that's your dice pool.
So
how many dice is that?
3 in sensitivity and 2 in observe.
Nice.
Pretty good.
Okay, so that's good. That gives you a dice pool of 5. And if you feel really strongly about this, about, figuring out, the hackles are raising on your neck to some extent. And so if you want, you can invoke passion here. And passion will give you 2 more dice to your pool, and it will let you succeed. Your brills become 5s and 6s, so it doubles your threshold and gives you more dice. And it comes at a cost of, you would put a passion tick or die on your character sheet. Eventually, if you rely on your passion too much, it all comes crashing down, and you would have to throw 5 additional passion dice on whatever dice pool that is, and those only show glooms. So if you're feeling like, ooh, I really need to come through for her ladyship, or ooh, I'm really reading the room for my own benefit here, you can call upon that passion, because, in the genre fiction, everything is driven by these huge passions, and so we want these big swingy results, these big swingy dice pools.
Yeah, sure. I'll take a mark of passion, so I'm just marking that on my character sheet, yeah.
Okay.
Cool. So
and then give yourself 2 more dice.
Cool.
And then throw those dice.
7 dice.
Damn.
Ooh. It's real bad, guys.
6s though.
I've never seen this before.
Oh,
Okay.
God.
That's 5 ones. I'm not
5 1s.
Yeah.
Look,
Okay.
passion doesn't always mean violence.
No.
And 1
You've
6.
lost it, hasn't she? Fallen to absolute peace.
And 1 6. Well, unfortunately, yes, more glooms than brills there. And your attention is so much on the table. Your attention is so much on attempting to read this shady Kate person and her offer of, hey, I'll give you a house, is that cool? That you fail to notice this other thing that's occurring. Again, you've missed it here.
God, the intrigue. The mystique.
We'll see where this heads. Yes, there's too much at hand at stake on the table here. Where did those guys go who were going to buy the drinks? And it's not important. And so what's happening here then at the table is that, all right, Lady Valgrieve. Let me come clear. Let me be plain with you. The house that I'm trying to move into your possession here is called Crowscroft Manor, and the previous owner of it, Lady Valeska, has decided she doesn't like the country life, and Lady Valeska belongs to the Astaswillow family, and so I saw an opportunity here to perhaps give you a leg up on a family that might not have your same interests in mind, and one who, honestly, I find myself under the thumb of. So this is a chance for me to buy off a debt I have to an Astaswillow I never want to see again, while at the same time putting a thumb in their eye and turning ownership of the house over to you.
I think so. Allegra sort of posits that and chews on it for a minute, and and then I think I'd quite like to roll here, just to essentially try and intimidate her into telling me if she's being duplicitous. So I'm not going to try and intuit what she's saying. I'm just going to be like, if you don't tell me what I want, then bad things are going to happen to you.
Okay.
I think I'd call that, based on what I have here, perhaps definitely audacious. You'll be doing it audaciously.
Oh, yeah. Every single thing you do is audacious.
It's honestly, yeah.
It starts there.
Makes things easy, you know?
I don't know why you even took any other personality.
I think I'm going to do some audacious transgressions of like a social accord.
God, what a combo.
And just kind of use the shock value of this well-to-do woman basically leaning over, deepening her voice a little, and just saying, if you try and screw me here, do you have any idea the people I know and the pits I could leave your body in, you know? And just try and put the fear of God in her into a point where if there's something else going on here that you know, she spits it.
Good. No, that's a really clever use of transgress too. Like normally Normally, this would be a veiled threat, right? And so this would fall under something like intrigue, but you're not, right? You are putting the fear of, yep. There's no social dressing up of any of this. This is going to work out bad for you. All right, so hit that dice pool. That's your audacity plus your transgress.
So that is.
And again, if you want to invoke passion, you can push your results here. You know, and just looking at the raw outcomes of the dice, right? If you're doing just a standard dice roll, you're just as likely to get a brill as you are to get a gloom, right? The sixes and ones fall on the same. You know, they each are one face on a six-sided die, and so invoking passion then gives you a much broader range of success. And really, you don't have to pay it off now. Surely those passion dice will come. You know, they'll come into effect later.
Yeah, I don't think she's particularly passionate about this. She's like, look, I don't need your help. Tell me up front what this is all about. Otherwise, I'll set my crow on you. So I'm going to use the 5 dice that I have. So that's 3 from Audacious and 2 from Transgress. I think Audacious fits here as well because self-confidence is one of the subtitles of that. Like
absolutely.
Like, you can't touch me, you know? Yeah. So let's see what we get.
And the threat itself is very bold, right? Yeah.
Okay, so that is 1 6 and no glooms.
So nice.
One brill,
okay.
No glooms.
Great. Yeah, that's all you need to succeed is a single success or a single brill. The more you get, the greater the threshold, which becomes, you know, that shows up in things like combat where you're doing more damage, or in something that's potentially contested. But right now, she's got no leg to stand on with you. You know, she thought she was going to come here and say, you know, here's how it's going to be, and I'm going to give you this house, and you would be so greedy that things would just fall into place. But she's not. You know, first of all, Charlie caught her on her heels, and you know she was responding to that. And now, you know, this isn't something where she's just not prepared to negotiate here, and she's stammering. She's lost her collection, her composure here. Well, I've told you as much as I can about my situation, Lady Valgrieve. I'm honestly trying to help you here because it is going to help the both of us.
I think
I don't know how much more forthright I can be.
Mrs. Featherbottom's going to cut Kate off and be like, Lady Valgrieve doesn't appreciate having her time wasted. So get on with it, whatever you need to say.
I'm trying to give you this house. It's all on the up and up. Well, it's mostly on the up and up. Look, I can cover for it.
Very well. How about this, Miss Beckett? I will agree to your deal, and you'll agree to one of mine. Should anything untoward come of this transferring of wealth, then perhaps your life will be transferred from one realm to another. We'll sign whatever papers it is that you want. Miss Featherbottom, would you please pass me my bag?
Oh, of course, mistress, of course. Here you go.
write this lady a check for whatever it is. I have 1 wealth. No, 2 wealth. Sorry, I have 2 wealth.
Wealth.
That's one
Two
ticked
wealth.
Yeah,
off.
I'm double wealthed up
Okay.
on Thursday afternoon.
Let's go ahead and tick off one of those wealths
Will do.
because you've written a check for some obscene amount of money. The actual amount isn't important. What's important here is being able to, create the effect and throw that around.
When Mrs. Featherbottom goes over to hand over the check, she's going to look at Rachel, like, full in the face and see whether there's any recognition for
Is that Kate, you mean? Sorry.
Kate. The one.
There doesn't you don't see a glimmer of recognition on her face. You knew her, she does not know you.
Right. She goes to hand over the check. When Kate has her hand on it, before she let go, she says, "If there's anything fishy, yes, and I mean really fishy, then I'll know."
I'll kick your head off.
Yeah.
It's her.
She's gonna release the check. Oh,
The
she's
phantom head kicker.
Looks down, see the thighs.
As you
bulging
say
out
it,
the
like-
dress.
Her eyes get like progressively wider as your threat picks up momentum, and her hand is quivering as she takes the check and quickly tucks it into her jacket pocket, and here's where the music swells. And now that we've handed over money, we hear a commotion come from behind us. The 2 gentlemen who were buying drinks for you, Lady Valgrave, at the table have now been bowled over at the bar by what looks like 3 or 4 hooligans who mean some business here.
Oh my goodness.
And we're just waiting for the thing to happen. And now that the check has been handed over, that's where we'll hit our next session.
Oh my god.
That's where we say, next game, and that's where we conclude on the cliffhanger, which kind of works well with our time box here, because I want to respect y'all's time.
Thanks so much.
Oh my god.
I had it on the boards here where we're going to see how combat worked, but I actually like where this concludes.
Yeah, that's an amazing ending. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Gang of goons roll in.
There was no way it was a trap.
Gooning it up. Oh, God.
And I also liked, you called her Miss Beckett, right, Wheels? Like, you knew her last name was Ridley. Were you deliberately stomping her last name there?
Let's pretend that that's what happened. Who's Kate Beckett?
Good,
Just got it
good.
in my head now. That's a person. Let me know in the comments. Well, thank you so much, Justin, for talking us through our Brilliant Ruin. I've had a wonderful time. I'm honestly itching to play this now.
Yeah. Would love to just carry on. We just do that for hours
Yeah.
more. If only we didn't all have to do
This is actually the starter story in the book. The book assumes everyone's going to get their estate to start with. It doesn't happen in the same way, but Crowscroft is literally comes into the player's possession very early in the game. So congrats, you've taken the first step into the world.
Excellent. Yeah, do you want to tell us a little bit more about the game, where people can find more, where people can find the Kickstarter? We'll, of course, have links in the description below, but anything you'd like to tell our audience, please do now.
Yeah, Our Brilliant Ruin is the name for many of the socials. It's the website. We're working on the website today. Our Brilliant Ruin, search for it on Kickstarter. The Kickstarter started early this week, so we have about 26, 27 days left as of today, and we are rapidly trending toward getting there. And so we also want to make sure that everyone knows that whether or not you pledge to support the Kickstarter, the game itself is going to become available in PDF form to everyone. It will be a free download. We're figuring out distribution on that yet. If you back the Kickstarter at the digital level, you'll get it early. But thereafter, after that threshold expires, it's going to be available to everyone. And I think the benefit there is that it shows people the world. It gets people playing. If you've bought the game, everyone at the table can have a copy that they can reference. As a digital version. But also, it's a chance for people to see the world and decide, oh, I want to get into this comic book too, or I want to listen to audio drama, or ooh, can't wait to see what they do with the video game. So that's really our plan here, is to use the TTRPG to start building community, because we've got really big plans for this.
Amazing,
So
yeah.
exciting.
We're really excited to see where those plans chop off. And if you would like to see more on our Brilliant Ruin or all sorts of fantastic tabletop role-playing games, trading card games, miniatures games, and board games, we here at Dicebreaker and Dicebreaker.com have you covered, whether it's here on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, or if you head on over to Dicebreaker.com, our home and half, where Meehan and Matt Jarvis and Chase are writing all sorts of fantastic articles all about the tabletop industry. A massive thank you to Justin for running us through this, and to our Brilliant Ruin for sponsoring this video. As I said, you can find links down in the description below with more information and a little tunnel into where you can get yourself involved in the game. But thank you so much for watching this. We will see you on the next one, but until then, have a lovely day. Goodbye. Excellent. Thanks so much for that, Justin. That was great.
That was so fun.
Thanks.